In this video, I want to talk about the second half of Sarah McGrath's essay on moral knowledge. And in the second part of her essay, she discusses three puzzles about moral knowledge. Really, these are three arguments which seem to present challenges to the idea that we have moral knowledge. And you might think, well, we had enough challenges to deal with already. Well, here's some more. Deference, disagreement, and debunking. First of all is deference. Now, the idea is this. Here's the question. Should we defer to others in our moral beliefs? On the one hand, you might think we should. After all, any normal human being is going to acquire a lot of their moral knowledge naturally, just as a result of family, social, and cultural upbringing. If you throw out that stuff, there wouldn't be much left. And we are unlikely to actually reject that upbringing or to reject the beliefs that we've acquired in this way without resistance, even if somebody gives us reasons to do so. So you might think, look, yeah, we should go with deference. That's the major source of our moral beliefs. On the other hand, you might think, well, no, just because you got raised that way doesn't mean it's true or even probably true. You might think that our moral beliefs, like all of our beliefs, need to be responsive to arguments and to counterexample. After all, isn't that what philosophy is all about? Thinking about reasons and counterexamples. The philosopher R.M. Hare argues that, look, at some point, we have to answer the questions that may be raised about the truth of our moral beliefs. We can't just say, well, that's what mama said, or that's how I was raised, or that's what my culture said. So what are we going to do? Are we going to endorse beliefs acquired by deference or not? Second is this problem of disagreement. And this is one that we've seen in our previous studies before. But here's the argument from disagreement. If our epistemic peers disagree with us, it seems like, then our beliefs are unjustified. Pause 1 second. What do I mean by epistemic peers? An epistemic peer is someone who is just as informed and just as thoughtful as you are. Let me give you an example of why this is a plausible premise. Let's say you work out the answer to a math problem. As far as you know, you didn't make any mistakes. You're fairly confident in your answer. Your friend who is working on the same problem makes just as good a grade as you, is equally thoughtful, and is working just as conscientiously as you were. And your friend comes up with a different answer. Now, the question is this. If you and your friend are epistemic peers, should you be confident that your answer is correct? After all, it seems like you have no more reason to trust yourself than you have to trust your friend. So that seems to mean that your friend's disagreement undermines the justification for your own belief. You shouldn't trust your own belief. Your friend is an equally reliable source and got a different answer. So it seems like if your epistemic peers disagree with you, then your beliefs are not justified. You should be skeptical of your own beliefs. However, premise 2, epistemic peers, it seems, disagree about virtually every moral question. Look, you think about some moral belief you hold. Somewhere in the world is a person or a culture, probably, at least there's some crazy philosopher, or maybe not crazy, out there who has thought about it just as much or more than you have, and is just as logical and rational, and has come to a different answer. Now, if you go by the parallel with the math problems, if they're really your epistemic peer and they disagree with you, it seems like you shouldn't hold that belief. You should be skeptical of it. You should think, well, I very well could have made a mistake. I shouldn't rest any weight on this. If that's the case, then none of your moral beliefs are justified, because somebody somewhere out there is an epistemic peer who disagrees with you. What do you think? Thirdly, evolutionary debunking arguments. Now, on the hypothesis that human beings originated from natural selection, that is, from blind Darwinian processes, this is where this problem arises, which is, of course, what most philosophers assume. So natural selection is going to favor traits that propagate an organism's genes, regardless of how those traits are connected with true belief. Remember, natural selection doesn't care. I'm speaking metaphorically, but that kind of language is difficult to eliminate in these contexts. Natural selection doesn't care whether your beliefs are true. It only cares whether your genes are propagated. So natural selection would favor the kind of being that had false beliefs if that would help them to propagate their genes through successfully reproducing. Maybe it's going to help you reproduce if you believe yourself to be incredibly attractive or dominant or something like that. It doesn't matter. If that's favorable to reproduction, natural selection will favor it. Now, the concern is this. It would be advantageous for a species to believe many things. For example, that caring for your children and other members of your herd is morally right. Right? You can see how that would help you to propagate your genes if you thought, definitely I ought to do this. But natural selection would favor that belief, regardless of whether it was true. Even if it was totally false, natural selection would wire you that way. So that leads to a skeptical worry. If our moral beliefs are produced by naturalistic evolution, then there's no reason to think that they're true, only that they're advantageous. But our moral beliefs are produced by naturalistic evolution. Therefore, there is no reason to think that our moral beliefs are true. All right, these are 3 further worries. Hope you find the answers.